Great introductory phrase. I wish that I could go to a music festival, but it was canceled. So I guess I'll make a playlist and listen to music and dance in my backyard. I wish that I could, but this is what I'll do instead. Alright, let's go to our third phrase. I was going to take my family to New York, but I think we'll go camping instead. Using this phrase, I was going to, talks about a plan that you had. Usually a real plan that you had. It's not just a dream. It's a plan that you had, and then you needed to change it. I was going to take my family to New York, but I think we'll go camping instead. You have the dream, or maybe a plan, but unfortunately that's not the reality. I was going to backpack across Italy, but I guess I'll stay home and learn how to cook some Italian dishes instead. This year is all about, and last year is all about, trying to make some compromise, changing plans that not too disappointing. I was going to backpack across Italy, but I'll learn to cook some Italian dishes instead. Okay, now that we have some common questions, don't forget our key question. How about you? What about you? And some common answers. Let's take a look at a sample conversation so that you can try to imitate this when it comes to be your turn. Let's take a look at this sample.
Hey, you doing anything fun this summer?
Well, I was going to go backpacking around Europe, but instead I think I'll just go camping in some local state parks. What about you?
Well, I was going to meet my family.
Here comes the kickoff.
So now I think I'm going to have a socially distant outdoor movie night in my backyard. Do you want to come?
Sure, that sounds great. Text me the details and I'll be there.
Great, I'll see you around.
Most
Enjoy your
impressive.
camping trip.
Thanks, I will. See you at the movie night. Okay, now it's your turn. Put together all of these pieces. I'm going to be asking you a question. Then I'm going to be pausing. I don't care where you are living around the world. My ears are going to be listening to you. Then I'll be replying, and I would like you to take this opportunity to speak out loud. If you need to go back, review this section, do it again and again, and just gain some more courage, feel free to do it. A wonderful chance to speak out loud. Are you ready? Let's do it. Hey, you doing anything fun this summer? That sounds like fun. Have you done that before? I wish I could take my family on a trip to Switzerland, but with the travel restrictions, I think we're just gonna go on a road trip here in the US instead. Well, it was nice talking with you. See you later. So how did you do? Do you feel a little bit more comfortable talking about your vacation or summer plans? Feel free to go back and review our practice section together. It's a great way to speak out loud.
突然ですが、この先どうなるのかめっちゃ気になるベスト3発表します。第3位、少子化ってこの先どうなる？第2位、値上げってこの先どうなる？第1位、AI ってこの先どうなる？そんな風に見出しを流し読みするだけでちょうどいいインプットが手軽にできちゃう日経電子版。今なら2ヶ月無料ってお得すぎる。あなたも試してみませんか
I bring salvation to a weary world.
ただいまリラクルでボディケア。おっ、すっごい。揉み心地やっば。あー楽。リラクル。
Okay, let's get started with some common vocabulary to talk about where you live. If you live in a city, you might say, it's really busy where I live. New York City is a busy place. Or you can use the word crowded. Tokyo is a crowded city. There are lots of people everywhere, and there are not many places where you can be alone.
I will not back down.
Maybe you might say that
Yabai
your city is busy and crowded.
そっち行く？
You can say
あ、そっか。
Stockholm, Sweden is a relaxed city. It's a quiet place. I don't know. I've never been to Stockholm. If you're from Stockholm, Sweden, let me know. But you might say, where I live is just a relaxed place. Or we can say it's relaxing. If you come visit where I live, it's very relaxing and quiet. Maybe that's because it's in the country. Let's go on to these two common words to talk about the type of place you live. You might say, yeah, I live in Delhi, India, and it's one of the largest urban areas in the world. There are so many people here, it's busy, it's crowded, it's an urban area. And this means it's the city. It's quite busy, it's crowded, it's an urban area. There's not many trees, not much nature. But on the other hand, you might say, I live in the country. The word country means United States, France, Japan, these places. But in the US, we use this to mean countryside. We do say countryside sometimes, but we're more likely in the US to say, I live in the country. That means in nature. Maybe there's some farms around you, maybe there's forests around you, and you don't live in a busy urban city center.
There is no God in
So I
this
wonder for you, do
world.
you live in the country or do
What
you
I
live
did
in
was
an urban
unpardonable.
city center? Do you live somewhere
Rain
that's
down
difficult
upon my
to get to? You might say, yeah, my city is off the beaten path, but it's worth visiting.
Respect your
So
better.
for me, my city, Asheville in North Carolina, it is definitely off the beaten path. It's not a huge city, it doesn't have a big airport that comes here, it's off the beaten path. But if you want to check out some other local sites in the US, it could be nice to visit. It's off the beaten path.
There is no
This
God.
also can be used to talk about locations within a city. So, you know, if you visit Paris, you go to the Eiffel Tower, and then you get hungry, well, the places that are close to the Eiffel Tower to eat, those are what we call
Fine. Learn the hard way. I ruined my
those places are only for tourists. They're extremely expensive. They're not high quality. It's just to trap tourists. But if you want to eat
Though
at
there is
great
no
locations,
God,
you
I
might
still
go
serve
somewhere off
mankind.
the beaten path. This is somewhere that not many other people go to, and it's an expression that's great to use about like little secret local locations. So when I visit your city, I might ask, are there any places off the beaten path that I can visit? Are there any restaurants off the beaten path that only locals know about? What is something off the beaten path that I can do?
開けとかな
Say
ん
that
な。
where you live is not extremely popular, but it's becoming more popular. Maybe because of the pandemic last year, people are traveling to different types of destinations. Maybe they're deciding to travel to more nature places, places that are in the mountains or places that are not in big city centers. Well, that might be because where you live is becoming an up and
The
coming
world's tears are
we
mine
use
to
this
bear
term up
alone.
and coming to talk about somewhere that's not extremely popular, but it's becoming more popular. So you might say, yeah, my city isn't really popular right now, but it's an up and coming place. You've got to check it out. We can use this on a smaller scale, just like off the beaten path, to talk about a restaurant or a neighborhood. Yeah, that neighborhood used to not be a good neighborhood, but now it's an
Wishes
up and coming
rain down
neighborhood.
upon
You
my
got to walk
blade.
through it, just look at the houses, look at the architecture, enjoy the sights. So you might say it's an up and
in
coming.
harmony.
Excellent expression. Our final expression to talk about where you live is must see, or some must see.
こいつが死後っていうのもまたいいねんな。こいつマジで使えるわ。
It's not important to see it. Nah, you can skip that. No, you must see this. So, for example, when you visit Egypt, the pyramids are a must see. So we can use it as a noun, a must see. Of course, when you go to Egypt, the pyramids are a must see. When you go to London, Big Ben is a must see. When you go to New York City, the Empire State Building is a must see. These are kind of like the top things that you need to see. But even if you don't live in one of those really popular cities, if you live somewhere a little bit off the beaten path, you can still use this expression. You might say, in my city, yeah, this view on the top of the mountains, yeah, that is a must-see. You drive up this hill, and you can have a great 360 view. That is a must-see. It's something you cannot miss when you visit that location. So when I visit your city, what are some places that are a must-see?
You got it.
Next,
ちょっとやばい。
let's talk about some common questions that you can ask other people about where they live, and also other people will ask you about where you live. So make sure you're comfortable answering them about where you live. First question is, where are you from? This is an extremely common question, and you can just say, yep, I'm from the US. But it's nice to give a little more details. So you might say, I'm from Asheville in North Carolina. It's a pretty quiet place, but it's kind of up and coming. Great, you're giving some details. It's quiet, but it's also up and coming. You live in Asheville, you're inviting a conversation. If you just say, I'm from the US, or I'm from Asheville, that's where I'm from, someone might ask you, what's it like there? Or if someone doesn't give you more details about where they live, they just say, France. I live in London. I live in LA. Okay, well, you might want some more details. You want to continue the conversation. This is a great question to ask. What's it like there? What's it like there? What is it like there? They might say it's so hot in the summer, but the fall is awesome because we get some great leaves and you gotta check it out in the fall. Excellent. If someone has not mentioned the weather yet, you can say, what's the weather like there? They can go into some details. You can say about your city. The winter is so cold, we get tons of snow, but when it melts in the spring, the leaves become green and the flowers bloom. It's awesome. Gotta visit the spring. If you have not told someone what time to visit yet, they might ask, what's the best time to visit? So when Dan and I were planning a trip to go to Costa Rica a couple years ago, we did a lot of research about what is the best time to visit Costa Rica. The seasons are very different than our seasons, and we were going to be spending a lot of time outside, so we wanted to make sure it wasn't going to be raining the whole time, wasn't going to be pouring down rain or too hot the whole time. So we asked this question, when's the best time to visit? So someone might ask you, when's the best time to visit your city? For my city, I think the best time to visit is the fall. The leaves are beautiful in the mountains. There's so many different colors. The air is so crisp and fresh.
You must undergo.
If someone asks you, what's your city like? This means, what is your city famous for? Why do people visit your city? It might just be something simple, like the air is so fresh. Or it might be, they just love this pastry, this type of dessert that's made in my city, and a lot of people like to come and eat that pastry. Or it could be something simple, or if you live in a bigger place, you could obviously talk about some famous destinations that your city is known for. But if people have not heard about your city, they might ask this question. Oh, what's it known for? What's your city known for? And then you think about the great places to visit that people might be interested in. Whenever I ask someone about their city, especially if I'm going to visit, like your city, I like to ask about their personal favorite thing to do. So someone might ask you, what's your favorite thing to do in your city? Or what's your favorite thing to eat there? What's your favorite thing to see? Because I think that local people's perspectives are often different than...
まずいな。
So finding out what the locals like to do, specifically what you like to do, can be really valuable and can add to a rich visiting experience.
まずい。
So, if I asked you, what's your favorite thing to do in your city? You might tell me, there is this little bar off the beaten path down this alley, and you gotta check it out. It's so cool. They brew their own beer, and the atmosphere is awesome. It is a must-see. Great! I bet that my trip to your city would be a lot more amazing because of that information. So make sure that you have some ideas that you can tell other people about your city. Our final question is a little more broad. Someone might simply ask you, what do you recommend? Or maybe if you're talking to someone who lives in New York and you are about to visit New York, great, you can ask them some questions and say, what do you recommend? What do you recommend about New York? What do you recommend that I do? Oh, you gotta see this museum. It's really cool. They have local artists that they have on display and all these different things to see. Great, you're asking, what do you recommend in general? It might not be that person's absolute favorite thing personally.
I don't want to graduate.
What do you recommend? Great, a wonderful question to ask. What do you recommend? All right, now that we've talked about some common vocabulary to describe your city, some common questions that you can ask or other people might ask you about where you live, let's see a quick sample conversation between me and my husband Dan, where we talk about visiting Rome. Now, neither of us are from Rome, but I want you to use your imagination. Let's imagine that Dan is from Rome. He's actually from the US, but let's imagine that he's from Rome and he is giving me some insider tips about what I should do on my upcoming trip to Rome. Let's watch the sample conversation and listen for some of the key vocabulary that we just talked about, because you are about to have a chance to use it yourself speaking with me. Let's watch. Hey Dan!
Hey Vanessa, are you excited for your trip to Rome?
Yeah, I can't wait. It's such a historic
I'm
place.
not pulling punches.
But are there any tourist traps I should avoid?
Yeah, avoid all the gelato except this one. It's off the beaten path, but trust me, it's worth it.
Oh, thanks for the tip. Any other must-sees?
Well, the Colosseum is great, but my favorite thing is to wander around and all the little
You ain't got
It's
nothing.
usually more relaxed and less crowded.
Oh, that's good to know. Thanks for the tip.
Stand
No
down.
problem. Enjoy your
Or
trip.
get
I will.
massacred. You ain't got
All right, now it is your turn. I'm going to ask you some questions about.
あーやばい負けた。
I'm coming to visit. I need to know what it's like. I'm going to ask you some questions, and then I
もう
will
いって殴れやんバカ。死ね。
wherever you live around the world. Speak out loud and use the expressions that you've learned. Are you ready to get started? Hi, I'm taking a vacation to your city and I can't wait. Tell me, what's the weather like in the summer? I need to know what I should pack. That's good to know. Thank you. Well, what's your favorite thing to do or see in your city? Wow, that sounds really interesting. So I gotta know, are there any tourist traps that I should avoid when I go? Thanks so much for the tip. I look forward to visiting. I can't wait to see you soon. Bye. How do you do having this conversation with me? You're welcome to do that. Grow your confidence.
楽天カードはポイントの使い道いろいろ満足のナンバー1楽天ポイントがもらえて全国のいろいろなお店でも使えるんです楽天カードで検索
一つずつでも英語で通じ合える機会が増えたことで以前よりも楽しく自信を持って英語を話せるようになりました。私はギャンブルを始めて1年半が経ちますが、最初の頃の文学に比べても会話の通じ合い力やリスニング力、そして理解力が断然上がったという感じです。また1万人以上の教師がいる世界のさまざまな国や地域の選手を参加できる機会が増えています。サントリーには無料体験レッスンがあって、ぜひ皆さんもお楽しみください。
Let's get started with some common expressions to talk about birthdays. Let's talk about some types of birthday parties. A birthday bash. This is a big party. Lots of people, lots of presents, lots of games. It's a big one. So you might say, we are throwing a birthday bash for my niece because she's turning 10, double digits. Quite excited. To throw a party. Are you holding the party? Throwing it? No, I mean maybe you're throwing some confetti, but this is just another way to say we're having a party or we're going to plan a party. We also use the verb to throw. You might say we're throwing throwing a party for my grandma's 90th birthday. It's going to be a big birthday bash. What if you're not a fan of birthday bashes? You want to keep things more low-key. You might say a gathering or a get-together. This is something small and intimate, a family, a few friends maybe. You could say, I'm not a fan of big birthday bashes, so we're just going to have a little gathering at my house. Or we're just going to have a little get-together at my house. This is true for me. Usually for my birthday, we just have a little get-together at my house with a couple friends, maybe some family, nothing too big. Surprise! Oh, what did I just do? I surprised you because it's a surprise party. Usually with a surprise party, the person who is having the birthday doesn't know about the party. This is the ideal situation. So someone is planning, inviting guests, setting up everything, and they try to get the birthday person to come into that area without knowing anything, and they walk in, and then everybody jumps up and says, surprise! No, I'm curious, have you ever had a surprise birthday for you? Have you ever helped to participate in a surprise birthday? I don't think that I ever have, but one time when I was in college, my friends threw a surprise birthday party for me and another friend who has the same birthday. And I didn't want to go, so I'm studying, I have a test, I can't go down there. No, I'm not going to go have dinner with you guys. No, I need to study. And then one of my friends finally realized that I wasn't coming, and she said, hey, Vanessa, it's a surprise birthday for you. Come on. So I kind of had no choice at that point because I realized, oh, they're doing something nice for me. So you might say, we're throwing a party for Vanessa. It's a surprise party. Don't tell her. Well, unless you can't get her to come. Next, let's talk about some common phrases that are just associated with birthdays. The first one is RSVP. Now, this is occasionally something that we use in spoken conversation, but it is more common on a written invitation. It could be a physical invitation, or it might be an internet invitation using, Facebook events or something like this. But RSVP stands for the French "Répondez s'il vous plaît," and it means please respond. Please tell me if you're coming. So usually you will see this sentence: RSVP by June 30th. RSVP by Saturday, whatever date. So there's a deadline. Please tell me if you're coming so that I can order the right amount of cake, so that I can make the right amount of food. This is just a polite thing to do, to RSVP. Wonderful. Another common phrase for birthdays or for parties is BYOB. What if I said dinner and cake are provided? BYOB. What would that mean to you? Bring your old bag. Bring your old balloon. No. This means bring your own beer or bring your own booze. Booze is a slang term for alcohol. So this means I am not providing alcohol. If you want to drink alcohol, bring what you want to drink. Bring it for yourself. This is very common, and it's not really rude. In fact, it's good to tell guests if they are allowed to drink alcohol in your house and you're not going to provide any. It's good to tell them, I don't have any, bring your own. BYOB. This is quite a common expression, especially in an invitation. You might see that written. Dinner and cake provided, BYOB. Excellent. Make a wish! Usually after we sing happy birthday, you blow out the candles and you close your eyes and you make a wish. There's kind of a superstition that if you tell people your wish, it will never come true. So usually it's a surprise. I will never tell you what my birthday wishes are because it probably won't come true then. So this is kind of a superstition. But you might say, after I blow out the candles, I'm going to make a wish. But often you will hear people say this. So after they sing happy birthday and you blow out the candles, someone will say, all right, make a wish. And they're telling you this is the time to make a wish. This sometimes happens at children's parties more often that someone will say it. So they're reminding their child, this is the time to make a wish. Close your eyes and make a wish. Don't tell anyone. So this is a fun little tradition, I would say. A goodie bag. It's like a little plastic bag of in my opinion, usually junk that is given to all of the kids at a children's birthday party. I'm not a big fan of goodie bags because they're usually made up of junk. It's stuff that comes from the dollar store, and parents feel some kind of social pressure to give out a goodie bag at their child's birthday party. But usually those things just end up in the trash. So for me, I would rather do a craft at the birthday and the children can take home the craft. Or maybe there's that extra cupcake and the children can take home a cupcake. This seems a little bit better to me. I think that the idea of a goodie bag is falling out of tradition a bit, and there's still a little pressure to give something to your guests. This is only for children. To give something to your guests. A sweet 16. If I said, I can't believe your daughter is already old enough to have her sweet 16. How old do you think that she is? 16 years old. For some reason, 16 is a big number. I think this is because this is when you can get your driver's license in the US. So it's usually just for girls. I hate to say it, but usually teenage boys who are 16 years old aren't usually labeled as sweet. Maybe that was just my experience when I was a teenager. But usually a 16-year-old girl might have a sweet 16 party. And this is a big birthday bash to celebrate turning 16. The next big birthday is turning 21, and this is for anyone, boys or girls. And this is a big birthday because you can finally legally drink alcohol. So a lot of people will have a 21st birthday party with their friends where they get to go to a bar, or they go to a pub, or they go to a brewery or a restaurant, and they get to drink alcohol in public. That's not to say that nobody drinks alcohol before 21, but usually your 21st birthday is kind of a symbol of, now I am an adult. There you go. After 21, you have to wait a long time for your next big birthday. If I said, oh, I don't feel that old, but somehow I'm already over the hill. What do you think over the hill means? Well, the average lifespan is about 80 years. I think now it's a little bit more than 80 years old. But what is halfway? 40. So this birthday is a little bit dark, a little bit depressing, but we say that when you turn 40 years old, you are over the hill. And anytime after 40, if you don't want to tell someone your age, you can just say, I'm over the hill, or I'm way over the hill, because you are past the peak of life, and now you're just going down the other side. So usually if you go to the grocery store and you buy any kind of balloons or birthday bags or birthday decorations for a 40th birthday, they all are black or gray or have to do with like gravestones or skeletons. It's very, it's a little bit silly because obviously when you're 40, you're still young. But it's just a silly idea that now, oh, you're over the hill. Our last birthday expression before we get to some common birthday questions is a trip around the sun. This is just another fun way to say that you are 1 year older. So if somebody is having a birthday, you can tell them, congrats on another successful trip around the sun. They have successfully gone around the sun one more time, which is one more year. Congrats on a successful trip around the sun. You did it. Alright, let's go on to some common questions that you might get asked on your birthday, or you could ask someone else on their birthday. And we'll talk about some common answers as well. Any plans for your birthday? This is an extremely common question. If someone asks you, any plans for your birthday? You could say, yeah, we're planning a big bash this weekend. It's going to be exciting. Or, no, we're just going to have a small gathering with a couple friends. Excellent. Any plans for your birthday? What do you want to do for your birthday? This is a great question to ask if you know that you will also be included in the birthday plans. If you are a family member or a close friend who will help to organize the birthday activities, you can use this question. What do you want to do for your birthday? That kind of is asking, hey, what should I plan for your birthday? And you could say, yeah, I'd like to have just a small get-together at the house. Maybe we can have a cookout, maybe some cake, just some kind of small get-together. A little bird told me it was your birthday. What would you like? This expression, a little bird told me, is kind of almost a universal idea, I think. A lot of languages have this concept of hearing something from a little bird. You're not saying who told you, but you're just saying, a little bird told me that it was your birthday, or that your birthday is coming soon. Do you have this type of expression in your native language? It's a great one to use for birthdays. You could just say, a little bird told me it's your birthday. What would you like? You're asking for a present idea. What kind of present should I give you? And an answer to that could be, yep, my birthday is coming up on Saturday, but instead of a present, I'm asking that everyone bring some kind of food or drink to the party. Okay, you don't need presents, you don't need more stuff. You're just asking that people bring food and drinks to your party. Simple, and it's a good way to give at a party and participate. How old will you be? Or maybe if it's on someone's birthday, oh, how old are you now? Don't ask an adult. I would say after 21, usually it's not a good idea to ask someone, how old are you? Or how old will you be? In American culture, it is quite rude to ask someone their age when they're an adult. For a child, it's no problem. Children love telling people their age. Usually they're very specific, like, I'm 7.5. I'm 8 3/4. They're very specific about their age because they're so proud of it. But once we become adults, we become a little bit more hesitant to share our age, especially with anybody. And it's not required in social circumstances to say your age. So I recommend asking, how old are you now? Or how old will you be, only to children. When someone invites you to a party, you can ask, is it a surprise party? That way you can not be the one who spoils the surprise. So maybe they forgot to tell you what was a surprise party, so it's a good thing to ask, is this a surprise party? And they might say, oh no, he knows about it. Or he might say, oh yes it is, don't tell him. It's a great question to ask. Is it a surprise party? Do you need me to bring anything? Can I bring anything? This is a great question to ask anytime that you go to someone's house for dinner, for a meal, for even just tea or coffee, and especially for a birthday party or a holiday gathering.
やばい、負けるかもしれない。ハッピーピックいらないかもな。ちょっと重いな、
I
ハ
ask
ッピー
this
ピック。
all the time, and I really appreciate it when my guests ask this, because maybe it would be nice if someone else made the salad, or someone else made a dish for the meal, or maybe even someone just brought a game or something to do. This can help to ease the burden of the person who is throwing the party or just having a holiday gathering. So this is a great question to ask. I highly recommend it. And if someone asks you, oh, can I bring anything? You can think, okay, well, yeah, maybe bring your own booze. Or, yeah, do you have a favorite board game? Maybe after dinner we can play a game, bring a game. Or could you make a salad? Could you make a dessert? Not even make, could you just bring one?
いやー、これ負けだっ臭いな。ちょっとき
But this
つい
is a good
な。
question to help to have everyone feel like they're participating in the Alright, now that we've practiced some common expressions for birthdays and common questions for birthdays, let's go on to our conversation. I'd like you to see this sample conversation that I had with my husband Dan about birthdays. You're going to recognize a lot of these questions, a lot of the expressions about birthdays. Listen to this conversation carefully because in
や
just
ば
a
いな、
minute,
ちょっとこれ。
Dan will leave and I will be asking you those questions. And it will be your turn to speak out loud. Let's watch the sample conversation. Hey Dan!
Hey Vanessa, you have a birthday coming up, don't you?
Yeah, pretty soon. Another trip around the sun.
Cool. Do you have any plans for your birthday?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a big birthday bash. I would love for you to come. I can send you an invitation.
That sounds fun. Do you need me to bring anything?
You can bring your favorite party game and a big appetite for cake. All the other details will be in the invitation.
Sounds great. I'll be there.
Great, see you then. Okay, you watched the sample conversation. Now it's time to take a deep breath and practice this yourself. I'm going to ask you a couple questions. And I will pause. I will be listening to you, no matter where you live around the world. I will be listening, and we will be having this conversation. If it seems too fast for you, if you want to try it again, the good news is that you can click pause on the video.
なんでバハムともう一回来るんですしね。
Practice it again. No problem. Are you ready? Let's get started. The little bird told me that your birthday is coming up. Do you have any plans?
あかん、俺ハッピービッグミスったマジで。3枚いらないな、22でいいな。ちょっと重いな、これ
That
は。
sounds like fun. Is it a birthday tradition or is that something new?
いや、負けだな、これは。
Cool. I would love to
イラ
come.
ってくるな、ジャイアントハッピービッグ。ちょっと。イラってくるな。
Great. I'll be there. I can't wait to celebrate another trip around the sun. So how did you do with this
進化限ないと結構きついな。
conversation? I hope that it was a good challenge for you and it helped to boost your confidence speaking in English. That is the goal. You can always go back and review this. Let's learn some common vocabulary about
こいつも
animals
一枚
and
入れ
pets.
たいな。
Let's start by describing you. Can you describe yourself? I'm an animal lover. This means you love all kinds of animals. You might say, ever since I first visited a zoo as a child, I have been an animal lover. I just love all animals. Or if you would like to be a little more specific, you could say, I'm a cat person. I'm a dog person. Usually we keep it to cats and dogs, but you might say I'm a horse person. Does that mean that you have a cat head? I am a cat person. No, this just means that that is your preferred pet. You like cats. So for me, if you've been watching my English lessons for a while, you know I am a cat person. I've never had a dog, but I feel like I relate more to cats. I get along better with cats, and I feel more comfortable with cats.
うわ、足りへんねん
For
けど、
you,
殺す
you
わ。
might say, I'm a dog person. I would rather have a dog. Or maybe you have this unfortunate situation. You are allergic to dogs. Or maybe you might say, I'm allergic to cat fur. I love them. They're so cute and cuddly, and I wish I could have a cat, but I'm allergic. If your eyes start to get red and your nose starts to run, maybe your throat hurts, that's a bad sign. It means that you are allergic to some kind of animal. Maybe you can take some simple medicine and you'll be fine, but sometimes it's a bigger problem than that and you just can't have a cat, you can't have a dog. I hope you're not allergic. Now let's describe your pet. But a little note, first of all, something that I've noticed that's different between English and some other languages is that when we're talking about our pets or someone else's pet, we use he or she. We don't use it very often because it feels like you're creating some kind of distance, or it's a wild animal, or you don't really care about that animal. It's just an object, it. So for example, if I'm going to tell you about my cat, spoiler, I have a cat, I might say, she is a Siamese cat. If I say I have a cat, it's Siamese, it's okay. And you will hear this occasionally, but it's more common to hear he or she. She's a Siamese. She likes to play with cat toys. He or she. And if you're not certain if an animal is a he or a she, like if you see a neighbor's dog and you want to talk to that neighbor about their dog, you can just say he and it's okay. The neighbor will maybe correct you and say, oh, yes, she's a poodle. And then, oh, yes, what's her name? And you can use her when you find out. But in general, we use he or she for pets. A common word we use to describe pets is breed. What breed is your pet? But we often just say kind. What kind is it? So when we're talking about a dog or a cat, there are different types. So I already mentioned my cat is a Siamese cat. This is a specific type or breed of cat. What breed is your cat? Oh, he's a Siamese. She's a Siamese. What breed is it? Well, we often use the question, what kind is it? Which we'll talk about in our question section in a minute. Another common term used for pets is a rescue. This is describing your pet. Both of my cats are rescues. I got them from an animal shelter. This means that I didn't buy them from a breeder who is making purebred cats. No, I went to the animal shelter. These are abandoned cats who need a home. I went to the animal shelter and I adopted. We often use word adopted. I adopted 2 cats. They are rescue cats. Or they are rescues. And this is the idea that I rescued them. Sometimes in the US you see a bumper sticker, something like this, that says, "My dog rescued me." Have you ever felt like this? Maybe you saved your dog from the animal shelter, but really, your dog changed your life. Your dog rescued you. You might also hear the word mutt. Mutt can be a little negative if you say it with a negative voice, but it just means that you're not certain what kind of dog you have. We only use this for dogs, and it means, well, it's a mix of so many different types of dogs that I have no idea he's a mutt. We got him from the animal shelter, but you know what? He's the best dog I've ever had. He's a mutt, but I don't care. So it's that idea that he's not pure. He's not a purebred dog. He's a mix of so many kinds of dogs.
Gotta ride the rhythm.
Next is fur and coat. My cat's fur is so soft. After I give my dog a bath, he has a silky coat. He's not wearing a coat, it's just talking about his fur. And these words are kind of interchangeable. He has soft fur, he has a silky coat. It's a great word to talk about animal hair. Let's talk about some words we can use to talk about how friendly an animal is. The first one is just friendly. He is friendly. You'll often hear this as someone is walking their dog, and if their dog wants to come close,
おかしいや、これ。5ターン目でこんな軽く出るっておかしいやろ。ちゃんと見たんけ、これ、バンパリな。ほら、もうこうなるやんけ、お前。化けだよ。クソゲーやんけ、お前。
He's not very friendly with little kids, so we'll just try to stay away. There are 3 words that are variations of this. One is wild. Lions are wild. They are not friendly towards people. I do not recommend trying to pet a lion. They are wild. The next level is stray. We might say, that cat is a stray cat, or he's a stray. And that means that he lives on the streets, and maybe he'll come close to people to get some food. He might not really hurt you, but he doesn't want to live in your house. Maybe if you adopt him, he'll want to live in your house, but he doesn't have an owner. He's a stray. He's a stray cat. Some cities around the world have a lot of stray cats or stray dogs. They don't belong to anyone, but everyone helps to take care of them. Everyone helps to feed them. In the US, this isn't very common. We don't have a lot of stray cats or a lot of stray dogs because animal shelters are a big part of American culture. A lot of people, when they want a pet, they will go to the animal shelter instead of buying a purebred dog. Cats. So a lot of stray dogs or stray cats who live on the street will be taken to an animal shelter for someone to adopt. So you might say, my cat was a stray before we got him. He was a stray cat before we got him, and now he's just so friendly. The next level is domesticated. So this means a cat or dog or animal that was previously wild and now is very comfortable with humans. So we could use this for a lot of different animals like cows. Cows are domesticated. A long time ago they were completely wild, or horses. Horses were completely wild, but they have become domesticated. Over time, people have trained them to become comfortable with humans. They are domesticated. We often use this term for farm animals. Horses, cows, chickens, sheep, goats, they are domesticated animals. Some animals just can't be domesticated, like a zebra. You can't ride a zebra. You can't domesticate zebras. It would be pretty cool. But they're just an animal that cannot be domesticated. Before we go on to some common questions that you will hear and that you can ask about pets, let's talk about pet care and some words that you can use to describe pet care. A cage, a crate, and a kennel are all the same thing, and it's somewhere that you can keep your animal contained. So you might say, I put my ferret, some people have a ferret for a pet. I put my ferret
all
in the
special
crate
in
to
their
take
own
it
way.
to the vet, which we'll talk about in just a second. But it's a type of box where you will keep your animals, maybe to transport them somewhere, or maybe just to help them feel safe and comfortable. We have a big kennel for my dog to help them feel comfortable when guests come over. He goes in there and he feels comfortable, and when the guests leave, he comes out and feels very safe. A collar and tag. This goes around your animal's neck and has some important information like pet's name, your phone number, maybe your address, and if your pet gets lost, well, someone can help you to find your pet again by calling you with the number that's on the tag on their collar. A collar is also useful because you can attach a leash to the collar. Sometimes this is called a lead. I think that lead is maybe more a term that professional people will use. A veterinarian will use this, maybe a dog trainer will use this, a lead. But for daily conversation, we often just say leash. Where's the leash? I need to find the dog's leash so that I can take him on a walk. One time I saw somebody having an iguana on a leash. Sometimes people put their cats on a leash too, but usually cats don't tolerate that. Have you ever seen a strange animal on a leash before?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Veterinarian. Usually we shorten this to vet. You've already heard me say this a couple of times. And that's the doctor for an animal. So you might say, I need to take my sick dog to the vet. Or what is the best vet to take my dog to? We're talking about veterinarian, but it's a situation where we don't use the longest word, we just use a short. Finally, in English, there is a simple way to say a long word. So you can just say vet. My cat's vet is just up the street. We have a vet appointment next week. Excellent. Now, I just want to let you know, if this is your job, if you are a vet and someone asks you the common question, what do you do? Which means, what's your job? And you say, I'm a vet. Well, this might be slightly confusing if someone has no idea that you work with animals, because a vet can be two different things. It can be a veterinarian, or it can be a veteran. A veteran, that means someone who used to be a soldier, they used to be in the military, and now they're retired. So that means that you could either be an animal doctor or a retired person from the military. So if someone knows that you work with animals or that you're a doctor, and you say, oh, I'm a doctor, and they ask, what kind of doctor? You say, I'm a vet. Okay, they will know that you work with animals. But if someone has no clue, you might say, I'm a veterinarian. You might elongate that a little bit just to be more specific. Or if you are a vet from the military, you might say, I'm a retired veteran. Or I'm a retired vet, I was in the Navy. You might want to be a little more specific. That's a situation that might possibly come up. What can you do to bond with your animal? You might play fetch. So you could say, my cat likes to play fetch. Who would have guessed? Usually dogs do, but sometimes cats do too. Or you could just say this word to your dog. You have a stick, throw the stick, and your dog runs after the stick. You could say, fetch boy, fetch, fetch the stick. So you're telling him, you're giving him a command about what to do. Get the stick and bring it back. It's a fun game. Or we might just pet your pet. Ooh. So this word can be used as a noun, as we've been talking about it. I have 9 pets.
On prevailing wings, by condemnation flame.
Gently
Such attacks
touching your
can't
pet.
move me.
This is the
Our
verb
paths
to
may
pet.
differ,
When
yet
you
our
are
will
Rejoice.
or just gently touching your animal, this is a very kind, nice thing to do. Well, you are petting your pet. So if you're walking down the street and someone is walking a dog and that dog seems friendly,
got
the
you.
dog wants to
You're
talk with you,
careless.
and the owner says, oh, don't worry, he's friendly, you can say, can I pet you? Great. That
Sumo
means
is
that you
now
can stroke
online.
his head or
Strength.
his back or under his chin, and it's a nice way to enjoy a dog, to kind of connect with each other. Okay, are you ready to go on to some common questions that people will ask you about your pet? Also, you can ask. Let's do it. Do you have any pets? Very simple and straightforward question. You might say, When I was a kid, I had a dog, but now I don't have any pets. Okay, well, this is just answering in a nicer way than just no, I don't have any pets. You're giving some information. When I was a kid, I had a dog, and now I don't have any pets. Good answer. When you see a dog, a common question is, what kind is he? We're talking about the breed of dog. What kind is he? It's sometimes unusual to see a purebred dog that's only one kind, only one breed. So you often hear this type of answer. He's a lab mix. We got him at the animal shelter. He's a mix. So this means he has 2 different, or maybe 3 or 4 different types of dogs in his blood. So we could say he's a mix, or he's a lab mix, and this means he comes from different types of breeds. Another common question is, what's his name? Of course, you can just say your pet's name, but I wanted to give you some of the most common female pet names and also some of the most common male pet names in English. So the most common female pet names are Bella, Luna, Lucy, Daisy, and Coco. There are many other pet names for female dogs or cats or horses or who knows what, but these are some of the most common. In fact, one of my cat's names is Luna. Some of the most common male pet names are Max, Buddy, Teddy, Rocky, and Duke. These are really common male pet names in the US. A question we already talked about is he friendly? Great. Someone might ask you this if you have a dog, and you're welcome to ask someone else this if you want to pet a dog. Is he friendly? Yes, you can pet him. Another common question is, how long have you had him? And maybe this is not how old is he, but how long has he been a part of your life? So you might say, I got Max from the animal shelter 3 years ago. How long have you had him? I've had him for 3 years. If you mention that your dog or someone else mentions that their dog is a specific breed, you could ask this question. What made you decide to get that breed? Maybe you're just curious about that breed, you're trying to have a conversation, or maybe you're thinking about getting a dog too and you want some more information. So you could say, what made you decide to get that breed? And if somebody has, for example, a lab, which is a Labrador retriever, if somebody has a lab, they might say, well, I heard that labs are family-friendly dogs, so we decided to get one. Okay, they have a reputation for being good with kids, for being friendly. They're family-friendly, so we decided to get one. All right, now that we've practiced some common vocabulary about pets, some common questions about pets, now I'd like to show you a sample conversation between my husband Dan and I talking about some pets. After the sample conversation, it will be your turn to speak with me and tell me about your pets, maybe the pets that you wish you had. And after that will be the big review of my 9 pets. All right, let's watch the sample conversation. Hi Dan, is that your dog? I thought you were a cat person.
Hey Vanessa, I'm an animal lover, but Fluffy's not mine. I'm just walking him for a friend.
Oh, gotcha. Is he friendly? Can I pet him?
Yes, he's friendly. You can pet him, but watch out. He drools.
Oh, good to know. Well, I'll stick to my non-food pets.
Such attacks can't
Boy,
me.
Fluffy.
I'm gonna walk him at the park to play fetch. Wanna come?
Sure. Okay, now it's your turn. I'm going to be asking you a couple questions, and then I'm going to pause, and you can speak out loud and try to answer these questions and pretend like we're having a conversation together. If you feel like it's too short of a pause, feel free to pause this video. Kind of the bonus thing, exciting thing about having a video conversation. You can pause me and spend some extra time. Okay, all right, are you ready? Take a deep breath. Let's do it. Hi, I didn't know you had a pet. What kind is he? Interesting. How long have you had him?
うざいんだけど。
That's so nice. You know, I've been thinking about getting one too. What do you like to do with him? Thanks for your help and nice to meet you. So how did you do? Are you ready to talk about your pets now? So I would like to encourage you to be able to speak more comfortably about
Oi.
common conversation topics.
死ねよお前。
And now, drum roll, it's time to meet my 9 pets. Are you ready? This is Pippin. He's a tuxedo cat. This isn't a breed, but it just describes his coloration. And this is Luna. She's a Siamese, but we got them both from a shelter, so she's probably not a purebred Siamese. And my other 7 pets are chickens! They're only 2 months old, but aren't they so big? Unfortunately, we have to wait until October until they start producing eggs. I can't wait. My husband Dan built their coop, that's the little house where they live, and this area is called the Run. It's a safe area for them to be outside without getting eaten by wild animals, we hope. We got them when they were 1 day old. Look how cute they were! This is a new adventure for us to have farm animals, but I can't wait to get some fresh eggs, and it's a great thing to do with kids. Go down to the chicken coop in the morning and gather the eggs. Can't wait, that'll be so much fun. Alright, let's get started with some common vocabulary about jobs. The first category has to do with employment. We'll talk about unemployment later. You might say, my day job is in an office, but I'm taking some night classes to become a nurse.
おマジか。
This expression, my
こい
day
つはにゃ。
job, usually
こ
means
いつ入れよう
your
も出せた。
primary job, the way that you make the
ちょっ
most
と覚え
money. It could imply that it's during the day, but if you happen to work a night shift, you can still say
ガ
my
チや
day
ん、写真
job,
で。
my main job, and how I make money. It's my day job. Another way to talk about your main job is to say, my 9 to 5 is in a marketing firm. My 9 to 5. This
てか相手
talks
2枚しか
about
ない。
hours that you work, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You might work different hours. You might work 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. You might work in the afternoon or the evening, but we still use my 9 to 5 to talk about your primary job, my 9 to 5.
なるほど。
There is kind of a new movement talking about this expression, and it's often about how people don't like their 9 to 5, that this is something that they're not satisfied with, and people who are not enjoying their 9 to 5 might find some articles online that
あー、持ってるな。
want to ditch your 9 to 5. Here's how to find your dream job. An expression we'll talk about in a moment. But sometimes in this modern age, 9 to 5 implies that
4、5。
job, I don't really care about it. It's my 9 to 5. It's somehow that it's the way that you make money, but it's not really your passion. It's my 9 to 5. What about jobs that are not your primary money-making job? You can use a lot of different expressions. You can call those jobs a gig, a side gig, a hustle, a side hustle, or you might just say, I do it on the side. So let's imagine that you make earrings. But it's not your 9 to 5. It's not your primary job. Well, you might say, I do it on the side. I make earrings on the side. Or you could say, I have a side gig making earrings. Okay, this is not your primary job, but it's something that you do, and you still make some money, but it's not your primary job. If you don't work 40 hours a week at a job, then you have a part-time job. In the US, 40 hours per week is considered a full-time job. But a lot of jobs are part-time jobs. So you might say, yep, I work a part-time job on the weekends at a restaurant. I work a part-time job. Maybe it's your main way of making money. Okay, you just work less hours. Or maybe it's just a side thing. Or maybe you're also a student and you have a part-time job at the same time. That's a great way to describe something. Less than 40 hours a week. Now let's talk about unemployment. Unfortunately, over the last few years, a lot of people became unemployed. It's scary. You don't know how you're going to survive, feed your family, take care of your future. You might be laid off. Laid off means you didn't personally do something wrong, but the company either cut your position, they couldn't pay for you anymore, and it's not something personal, it's usually a problem within the company. So when a company is suffering, usually financially, or they change their whole system, their whole model, and they don't need some people anymore, they might lay you off. This is a great phrasal verb. Of course, you don't want it to happen to you, but it's a great phrasal verb to know to explain the situation. Because it's not that you were fired. To be fired means you did something wrong. And they said, sorry, you can't work here anymore, and there was a problem. Maybe you were late to work too many times. You got fired. This is different than being laid off. When you're laid off, it's not your fault. And it's not embarrassing to say, oh, man, I was laid off during the pandemic. That's not embarrassing. That's fine. It's not your fault. But if you say, I was fired, usually there's a little bit of embarrassment to talk about that because it means there was a problem. We can also say, I lost my job. This is a little bit indirect than being fired. It might be because you did something wrong. I was late to work so many times that I lost my job. This means you were fired, but you didn't directly say that. But it could also mean that you were just laid off. During the pandemic, I lost my job. That's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. There were just problems with the economy, problems with the world in general. So you lost your job. So this expression, to lose my job, can be used either way. It can be used if you get fired or if you get laid off. Now let's talk about how you feel about your job. Let's imagine that you are a waiter at a restaurant. Well, you might say, I'm a waiter, but it's just a job. I'm looking for something else. It's just a job. This is a common expression to talk about a job that you don't really love. It's not your dream job. This is the opposite. You love your work. For me, I love being your teacher. I love being able to be your teacher online too. It's a really great combination. Great for you. I can touch a lot of people. And also, my life can have a lot of flexibility. Working online as your English teacher is my dream job. But there can also be some problems with work. You might say it's hard to find a good work-life balance. This expression, a work-life balance, is often used when you're working so much, or maybe, like me, you work from home. So it's hard to have a good line between your personal life and your work life. So maybe if you've been working a lot, you might say, I just need to take a break and find a better work-life balance. That's really important. If you've been working a lot, maybe you've even been studying a lot, you might face burnout. Burnout. This doesn't have to do with fire, but it kind of has the sense that your figurative flame and love of your job has gone out. So if you experience burnout, it means the thing that was your dream job, the thing that you felt passionate about, you no longer feel passionate about. This might be temporary. This happens to a lot of people, like me, who create content on YouTube. You have to be creative and come up with a lot of ideas, and sometimes there aren't many good ideas. Maybe I just have some kind of temporary writer's block and don't come up with a good idea, and I feel overwhelmed. Well, that might mean I am burnt out. I am experiencing burnout. Or we might say, I'm burnt out. I'm burnt out on my job. I've been working for 12 hours a day for the last 3 weeks. I'm burnt out. I need a break. I hope that you can avoid this before it gets too serious, but it's something that's really common if you are working too much or if you're studying too much. Now let's talk about 4 common phrases for describing your job. And just a little note, a while ago I made this video, 100 jobs in English. So if you would like to learn how to pronounce your personal job, or if you would like some more information about specific jobs in English, you can check out that video and get some more details about that. But let's talk about 4 common phrases to talk about what you do. You might say, I am a teacher. I am a doctor. I'm a healthcare worker. I'm a construction worker. I'm a designer. Whatever you might be, I am. But we could also say, I work in plus a field. I work in education. I work in healthcare. I work in business. I work in marketing. So here we have a general term. It doesn't talk about your specific position, but it's a common expression used when you're describing your job. I work in education. Maybe you're not specifically a teacher. Maybe you help to create curriculum or Maybe there's something that's a little complex that you don't want to explain. You might just say, I work in education. Cool. You could also talk about the company you work for. I work for Amazon. I work for Google. Especially if this is a well-known company, even if it's just well-known locally, this is a common expression you might use. Yeah, I work for Samsung. I work for Duke Power, which is the power plant in my city. If I said this to somebody who lived in France, they would have no idea what I was talking about because this is a local business. But if I said that to someone locally, they would understand exactly. So it's kind of cool about the context here. What if you have your own business? What if you run your own business? You can use that expression to run. For me, I run my own business. You could say, I run an online education business. Well, that means that I teach online, but it means I'm the CEO, the boss. I wear all the hats. I run a business. So you could use this for a lot of different situations as long as you're the entrepreneur, you're the one who's in charge of the business. I run a business. Before we get to our sample conversation, of course we need to talk about some common job questions. This is essential for daily conversation because usually these are the questions we use in small talk. So that's why the topic is really important to know about. One of the most common small talk questions actually say, hey, my name's Vanessa. Oh, nice to meet you. What do people say next? What do you do? What do you do? The full expression for this is possibly, what do you do for work? But we often just say, what do you do? And this doesn't mean, I'm sitting here right now talking to you, what are you doing right now? This means, what's your job? What do you do? So you might use one of those expressions we talked about earlier and say, oh, I work for Google. I work in marketing. Awesome. What do you do? Or what do you target? When you tell someone what you do, if they are a good conversationalist, they might ask more questions. You could ask this question too. What's that like? What's that like? So you're asking about their experience. What's it like to be a nurse in the hospital these days? Well, you might say, well, I like the doctor I work for, but it's just been really intense lately, and it's not my dream job. I really want to be a photographer for foster animals and help them to find a new home. That's what I would love to do. I'd love to get into photography. Okay, well here you just answered the question. What's that like? A lot of juicy details that can further the conversation more. So when you ask someone, what's that like? If they give you some details, don't miss that opportunity. You can pull any of those details and say, oh, you like foster animals? Have you ever had any foster animals?
やばいな、ちょっと負けたかもしれない。
And you can kind of snowball the conversation.
ちょっと厳しい。
Great way to get more information and learn about someone else. If you're talking with someone who you already know, maybe you kind of think you know what work they do, but you're not sure or you haven't talked with them for a while, you might ask this question. Where are you working these days? Where are you working these days? These days means now. But if you haven't seen someone for 5 years, maybe you knew what their previous job was and you're trying to make small talk conversation again and get to know maybe something's changed in their life. So you could ask, where are you working these days? And you might say, oh yeah, actually I'm still working at Google. I've had the same job for the last 5 years. I feel really lucky that I didn't get laid off. So that's where I'm at. And let's say you're talking with someone and you know what job they have. Well, you could ask this question. How's work going? This is similar to asking, how's your family? Oh, how was your vacation? This is just a common small talk question about someone's job. How's work going? And maybe they'll just say, oh, it's going fine. Okay, that's fine. But if they give you more information, they might say something like, oh, it's going okay, you know, it's kind of my side gig for a while, and then I got hired full-time, but I'm having a hard time finding a work-life balance, so I think I'm going to look for something in a different field soon.
わあ、もうめんどくせえな。
Conversation there, and you've got lots more information to be able to have more conversation with someone just from the simple question, how's work going? Alright, now it's time to see a sample conversation using all of these expressions, or many of these expressions that we just talked about. You'll see my husband Van and I having a little chit-chat about our jobs, and I hope that you recognize some of these expressions in questions that we talked about. Because in a moment, after the sample conversation, it will be your turn to use them and to have a conversation with me. Are you ready? Let's watch.
Hey Vanessa, where are you working these days?
Oh, hey Dan. I run an online business, so I can work from anywhere. It's pretty great.
Wow, what's that like?
Well, I help students learn English and speak with confidence. It's my dream job, but I have to be careful to avoid burning out.
Oh, that's awesome, but I understand.
What about you?
Well, unfortunately, I just got laid off at the coffee shop when they closed, but I got a job working part-time at a hotel.
Oh man, that's a bummer. Have you
Ah,
ever worked
sí.
in marketing? I'm looking for someone to help if you want a side gig behind the scenes.
That'd be great. Tell me more about it.
I wonder if Dan will get the
I
job
take
in
my
marketing.
silence to
Working
the
for
grave.
Vanessa. Alright, now it is your turn. And what I want to tell you is I will be asking you some questions and having a little conversation, but I recommend going back and reviewing this. You're welcome to pause the video and answer longer if you would like. This is a great chance to have kind of a structured, no pressure conversation. Alright, so ready to get started? Let's imagine we were at a gathering and the host said, "Oh, Vanessa, this is your name." And we get introduced to each other and then the host leaves. Here we need to have some small talk. So I ask you, so tell me, what do you do? And it's your turn to talk. Go ahead. And what's that like? Do you enjoy your
あ、
work?
ゼロで出したんか。した。しまった。しまった。ゼロで出したんか。
Oh, me?
うわー、それミスった
I run
な。
an online English
やっちゃった。
business where I teach English online to students around the world. It's really my dream job. I feel pretty lucky. Well, good luck with your work. I'm so glad to meet you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. How did you do? Did you have a chance to speak out loud and practice with me? Feel free to go back and review that last segment or the whole video as many times as you would like. Boost your confidence because when you have small talk in English, you absolutely encounter the conversation topic. So how did you do? Do you feel more empowered to talk about your city or your weekend plans and much more? Well, so don't forget to download the free PDF worksheet for today's lesson. There is a link in the description. Never forget what you've learned. Make sure you download that free PDF. And thank you so much for learning English with me. I will see you again next Friday for a new lesson here on my YouTube channel. Bye. The next step is to download the free PDF worksheet for this lesson. With this free PDF, you will master today's lesson and never forget what you have learned. You can be a confident English speaker. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for a free English lesson every
やば。
Friday.
くっそ強いねんけど。
リクルートダイレクトスタート。
転職サービス登録したんだ。したけどさ、今以上のなかなか来ないでしょ。
と思っていたら。
There is no God in this world.
すごいの来た。
企業へのハンターがあなたのレジュメをしっかり見る。
What?
今よりいい条件にきっと出会える。期待を超えるスカウト。リクルートダイレクトスカウト。まだここにない出会い。リクルート。
What?
Fiction wasn't enough for you.
なるほどね。こういう使い方があるのか。
Though there is no God, I still
Do you feel like you don't speak enough English? That you need to know more words? Then stick around. With these lessons, you'll pick up some of the most common words in just a few minutes. Now, this video is a small portion of our learning program. To get the full lessons, translations, and fluency fast study tools, click the link in the description and sign up for your free lifetime account. In this video, you'll learn 20 of the most common words and phrases in English. Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. Welcome to the 800 Core English Words and Phrases video series. This series will teach you the 800 most common words and phrases in English. But there's a twist. with each new lesson in this series, we'll include the previous lessons at the end. So after you've learned the new words and phrases, stick around and review what you learned in previous lessons. Reviewing is one of the most important parts of learning a language. You can also get the full list right now at EnglishClass101.com. Click the link in the description to access more example sentences, create your own flashcard deck, and finally master English. Okay, let's get started. First is brush. 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 This word can be a noun or a verb. As a verb, it's used to talk about combing hair, as with a hairbrush, or cleaning teeth, as with a toothbrush. It's very important to brush your teeth twice a day. It is very important to brush your teeth twice a day. It is very important to brush your teeth twice a day. Shower. 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 Shower can be used as both a noun and a verb. As a verb, it means to clean your body by standing under water. The man showers in the morning. The man showers in the morning. The man showers in the morning. Wash. 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 To wash means to make something clean. We can use it to talk about our bodies, to talk about our clothes, our dishes, anything we want to clean. The woman is washing her face. The woman is washing her face. The woman is washing her face. Leave. 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 To leave means to remove yourself from a location, to go away from a place. I leave early tomorrow morning. I leave early tomorrow morning. I leave early tomorrow morning. Check. 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 Check can be both a noun and a verb. As a verb, it means to confirm something, to see if it's correct or not. As a noun, it refers to the bill, as in at a restaurant. Could I get the check, please? Could I get the check, please? Could I get the check, please? 66. 66. 66. 66 is the number after 65. I ran for 66 minutes. I ran for 66 minutes. I ran.
Observe the commandments.
無駄な装飾なし。余計なサービスもなし。ミラクルは技術で勝負。らしいです。この技術をあなたに60分3600円。ミラクル。
Let evil burn in the fires of righteousness. Let evil burn in the fires of righteousness.
無料で税理士をご紹介します。税理士 .com。 自分に合う税理士がわからない。そんなあなたに税理士 .com が最適な税理士をご提案します。税理士の紹介は無料です。何人でもご紹介します。税理士 .com の登録税理士は6000名以上。あなたに合う税理士をご紹介します。累計実績も豊富。多くのお客様にご利用いただいています。70% 以上のお客様が税理士費用の引き下げに成功しています。東証グロース上場企業が運営しているので安心してご利用いただけます。あなたに最適な税理士をご紹介します。
うわ、バームとかやばいな。
税理士 .com。
終わったかな。そうなんだよな。バームド結構いないから、結構これ、ウラノスも多分使ってるやついないから、バームド出したと守り切った勝ちだからな。
77. 77. 77 is the number after 76. His door number is 77. His door number is 77. His door number is 77. 88. 88. 88. 88 is the number after 87. The company has 88 employees. The company has 88 employees. The company has 88 employees. 99. 99. 99. 99 is the number just before 100. His grandfather is 99 years old.
Be sensible.
His grandfather is 99 years old.
Follow
His
the righteous
grandfather is 99 years old. 100. 100. 100. 100 is the first 3-digit number. There are 100 people in my school. There are 100 people in my school. There are 100 people in my school. Living room. Living room.
Beauty in form.
Living room. The living room is a room in the house where people generally relax. It's very common to have a sofa, maybe chairs, a table, and a television in the living room. This living room is huge. This living room is huge. This living room is huge. Dining room.
That was fun.
Dining room.
A super size
Dining
set.
room. A dining room is a room that's specifically for eating or for dining. There's usually a table and some chairs. The dining room is next to the kitchen. The dining room is next to the kitchen.
Impressive.
The dining room is next to the kitchen. Hallway.
Wounded warrior. See
Hallway.
sucker here.
Hallway. Hallway or hall refers to usually like a tunnel kind of, but inside a house. So from a hallway, you can access many different rooms. Don't run in the hallways. Don't run in the hallways. Don't run in the
すぎる
hallways.
な。
Apartment. 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 An apartment is a style of home. So an apartment is one room or maybe one series of rooms inside a larger building. So that means there can be many apartments inside one building. Do you want to rent an apartment? Do you want to rent an apartment? Do you want to rent an apartment? House. 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 A house is a style of residence that is a separate building itself. So one house has like one family living inside it. It's not shared. It's not part of a larger building. This is my house. This is my house. This is my house. Exercise. 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 Exercise has a few different meanings, but we use it a lot to talk about working out, to do something that causes us to sweat for our health. Swimming is a good way to exercise. Swimming is a good way to exercise. Swimming is a good way.
あも
あなたのための大盛り
あも大盛り新登場じゃんじゃんじゃんじゃん
あも大盛り大好評
あも
You will soon understand.
今お前仕事中に転職サイト探してたろ。
いやこれは
ダメでしょ、常識的に考えて。
すいません
しくったな。
転職サイトはグリーンでしょ。そっち登録しておくだけで企業からオファー来るんだよ。ほら。
こんな会社からも。
しかも企業とのやり取りも全部スマホでできちゃうんだよ。楽だぜ。
先輩やり取りしてるんだ。
オンライン転職ならグリーン
でした。
声でかいよ。
転職決まりました。
早っ。
The Amata is the time to buy.
Way to exercise. Open. 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 Open can be an adjective or a verb. To open something means to cause it to not be closed. We can also use it to talk about like businesses, stores, and companies that are available for business. We describe them as open. The store is open from 9 a.m. The store is open from 9 a.m. The store is open from 9 a.m. Listen. Listen.
Unprevailing winds.
Listen.
By condemnation
To
flame.
listen means to focus your attention on something.
うわ、ウランスの合図きついな、やっぱ。無理や
Different
な。
from here, because with listen, we're actually focusing our attention on something. With here, information just enters our ears.
Let our will be done.
You should listen to the doctor. You should listen to the doctor. You should listen to the doctor. Birthday.
The world is within
Birthday.
my coil.
Birthday.
あ、これ
A
参考
birthday
さ
is a celebration of the day someone was born. I'm going to a birthday party this evening.
Like I care.
I'm going to a birthday party this evening. I'm going to a birthday party this evening. Retire. 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 So to retire means to stop working, usually at an older age, but people like in athletics, for example, may also retire from a sport. So that means they're finished with that particular job. My grandfather wants to retire in a year. My grandfather wants to retire in a year. My grandfather wants to retire in a year. Well done. In this lesson, you expanded your vocabulary and learned 20 new useful words. Click the link in the description and sign up for free at EnglishClass101.com to get access to the full list of vocabulary you'll need for daily life conversations. You'll also get example sentences, custom flashcard decks, and more learning resources. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Burn. 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 As long as I have these
Pajamas.
wings. Burn.
Pajamas. Pajamas. So pajamas are the clothes that you wear when you sleep. This can be anything, whatever you find. I want to buy a new pair of pajamas. I want to buy a new pair of pajamas. I want to buy a new pair of pajamas. Brazier.
まだ持ってんのお前、きっしょこいつ。死ね。
Brazier. So brazier is commonly shortened to just bra. A bra is usually worn by women, and it's worn on the chest. White brazier.
Within my coil.
White brazier.
きっしょかいな、こい
White
つ。
brazier. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. To wake up means to stop sleeping. It's that moment when you open your eyes, usually in the morning, and you start your day. I need an alarm to help me wake up. I need an alarm to help me wake up.
Beg my
I
forgiveness.
need an alarm to help me wake up. Commute.
I take my leave.
Commute. Commute. So a commute, that word refers to the process of going to work or the process of going to school. I commute to work by train. I commute to work by train. I commute to work by train. Eat.
無理か。失踪いないし無理か。
Eat.
24。
So the verb eat means to put food in your body. So it's a very simple, basic action. The family is eating breakfast. The family is eating breakfast. The family is eating breakfast.
Undergo
Art.
the soiree.
Art. Art. So art can refer to any creative work. Music can be art. A painting can be art. Sculptures can be art. Anything that's very creative can be art.
ああ、無理やな。届かんかったか。
Enough of this.
She's good at art. She is
い
good
や、わからん。
at
これまだ
art.
わからんぞ。今まで13、22やから、あと2い
Literature.
けるかもしれん。
Literature. Literature
マジで希少いな。
words. We tend to
バハム
use
と
the
さん
word
ずみか。
literature more in like polite
あ、
kind
無
of
理
more
か。あ
formal
れ
situations.
なんでだ
Often with like old
違う
fashioned.
の
All soon.
引きすぎた。
山さんが最近驚
引きすぎたんか。
ポケモンソフトナンバーワンのヒーロー光なら通常月額5000円
ショック悪いな。バーム積みすぎやろ。
ネットが使えて2年目以降の利用料金と比べてね。
Fashion
こ
story.
んなねちこいやつだと思う。
Literature is full of symbols and stories. Literature is full of symbols and stories. Literature is full of symbols in stories. Movie.
あれやられたら無理やな。勝てないな。でもいいとこまで行ったんやけどな。
A movie is something that we can watch. It's moving images.
これでバームード増えてきたらウーラノス。
How about seeing a movie?
ウーラノスで
How
もな。
about seeing a movie? How about seeing a movie? Music.
知恵とか
Music. Music. So music is entertainment that we listen to. We can enjoy live music, or we can have recorded music on our phones, or on CDs, or on tapes, whatever. The local music is very interesting. The local music is very interesting. The local music
バームード
is
臭いな、で
very
もな。
Answer. 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 Answer can be used as a noun or as a verb. As a noun, it refers to like the correct solution to a problem. We can also use answer as a verb to mean to reply to something like a question. He knows the answer. He knows the answer. He knows the answer. Teach. Teach.
よし、いた。
Teach. So to teach means to explain information to someone else. She teaches classes at the university. She teaches classes at the university. She teaches classes at the university. Ask. 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 So this verb is used when you want to get information from someone. Do we need to ask? Do we need to ask? Do we need to ask?
出してもよかったかな。ちょっと難しいな、これ、このゲーム。
Close. So close is the opposite of open. We can also use it as a verb, which means to cause something to not be open anymore. Could you close the door? Could you close the door? Could you close the door? Birth. Birth. Birth.
Be sensible.
Birth refers to the act of bringing something into the world. We often use this when we talk about humans being born. We celebrate our birth every year. We celebrate our birth every year.
あ、しまったな。
We celebrate our birth every year. Work.
ミスった。
Work.
Beg my forgiveness.
Work.
Now.
Work refers to one's job, so we can use it to talk about our daily tasks. I have a lot of work. I have a lot of work. I have a lot of work. Turn on. Turn on.
Worthless.
Turn on. So we use this phrasal verb turn on to mean like start something as a machine. So like we turn on a car or we turn on a light. There's usually some kind of like electricity going to the machine which causes it to start. The man turned on the light. The man turned on the light. The man turned on the light. Turn off. Turn off. Turn off. Turn off is the opposite of turn on. It means to cause something to lose power. Usually we use it with machines or other like electrical items. Stop the car and turn off the engine.
いや、むずい。
Stop the car and turn
こ
off
の
the
ゲームちょ
engine.
っとむずいな。
Stop the car
公開さ
and
れた。
turn off the engine. Eat out. Eat out.
4。
Eat out. To eat out means to go to a restaurant or other kind of dining establishment for a meal. People like to eat out on the weekends. People like to eat out on the weekends. People like to eat out on the weekends. Attend. 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 So to attend, this is a verb, means to participate in something. I attend a meeting. I attend a meeting. I attend a meeting. West. West. West.
Are a must.
So west is the opposite of east. The sun sets in the west. The sun sets in the west. The sun sets in the west. Well done. In this lesson, you expanded your vocabulary and learned 20 new useful words. Click the link in the description and sign up for free at EnglishClass101.com to get access to the full list of vocabulary you'll need for daily life conversations. You'll also get example sentences, custom flashcard decks, and more learning resources. See you next time. Bye-bye. Now, if you're wondering how to remember these words forever so that you can start speaking more and more, here's how. 1. Review them with our spaced repetition flashcards. Our flashcards will drill these words into
負けたか、おい。
The best way to learn speaking English? これはめっちゃシンプルやけど、話すしかないと思ってる。例えば、早く走れるようになりたくても、本とか YouTube でどんだけ学んでも、走らない意味ないやん、走ってみたいな。英語も一緒で、どんだけ単語を覚えて、洋画見たからって、話さないと話せるようにならへん。話してっていう感じ。だからとりあえず話すのってめっちゃ大事やと思う。Why am I using Cambly? キャンブリーは自分が好きな時に365日。
2. Save the words to our word bank, your personal collection of words, where you can print out physical study sheets. And 3. Watch our looped vocabulary slideshows on repeat until you understand every word. You'll find these tools inside our learning program. Just click the link in the description to get them. Necktie. 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 A necktie is an accessory. Usually it's worn by men, but women can wear them too. A necktie is something that's worn around the neck and we tie it so the name matches the actual object. Which necktie matches this shirt? Which necktie matches this shirt? Which necktie matches this shirt? Suit. 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 So a suit is typically regarded as professional attire. It's something that we wear when we want to go to an important business meeting, for example. Never wear a suit and a pair of sports shoes together. Never wear a suit and a pair of sports shoes together. Never wear a suit and a pair of sports shoes together. Sneaker. 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 A sneaker is a type of shoe. It's typically regarded as a very casual shoe. It's easy to wear and it's easy to walk around in. My sneakers are very comfortable. My sneakers are very comfortable. My sneakers are very comfortable. 21.
こいつマジやめてくれよ。
21. 21 is the number after 20. 21 is a special age in the United States because this is the age at which people are legally allowed to drink alcohol. The building has 21 stories. The building has 21 stories. The building has 21 stories. 22. 22. 22. 22 is the number after 21. 22 is her favorite number. 22 is her favorite number. 22 is her favorite number. 33. 33.
もうあれ謹慎してくれあれ。
33 is the number after 32.
ラストでしょ。
This book has 33 pages. This book has 33 pages. This book has 33 pages. 44. 44. 44.
スマホ、PC の購入を検討している企業様必見。今、
Want to speak real English from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at EnglishClass101.com.
Hi everybody and welcome back to Top Words. My name is Alicia and today we're going to talk about 10 phrasal verbs for talking about vehicles. Let's go! The first phrasal verb is pull in. Pull in. So pull in is used usually when you're driving very slowly. We usually use it for a parking lot. So we'll use it in an expression like pull into that space or pull in over there. In this sentence, pull into that space over there. It means usually to slowly move your car into a space, into a parking space or maybe into a garage. You're going into something usually very slowly. So pull in over here, pull in over there, pull into that parking lot, pull into that driveway, for example. So slowly move into another place. We use the phrasal verb pull in for that. The next phrasal verb is pull up. Pull up. In this sentence, I'll pull the car up in front of the hotel. We usually use this when we want to slowly drive and then stop at a location. So, for example, at a stoplight, we would say pull up to the stoplight. So it means to slowly drive to a place and then stop. So pull up next to the mailbox or pull up next to my house. Pull up over there means slowly drive and then stop at that place is pull up. That's how we use pull up. The next expression is back up. Back up, so back means reverse. To back up a car is to move a car slowly in reverse. So usually, in most cases, we drive cars going forward, but you sometimes need to move your car in the opposite direction. Back up out of the driveway, for example. It means to go slowly in reverse, to back up. In this sentence, the truck backed up until it touched the loading dock. The next expression, we talked about pull in, now we have back in. Back in. So pull in means to drive forward into something. Back in means to slowly go backward into something, usually a parking space or a garage or something. So back in is going in reverse, pull in is going forward as usual. So in a sentence, back into the parking space. The next expression is roll down. Roll down. This might be a little bit of an outdated expression at this point in time, but prior to the use of automatic windows, usually now I think most cars have a button and the window will automatically roll down. But we used to have a manual, a hand crank in cars to roll down windows. So this motion, which was used to move the window, that was also the verb we used. We use roll, so this motion is like roll, and then the window comes down. So we combined the two to say roll down the window. In a sentence, roll down your window, it's hot in here. The next expression is head up and head down. These are very common expressions when you are trying to navigate in a city. You don't have to use these only in cars. You can use them when you're walking or traveling on foot as well, on bicycle, whatever. You can use head up and head down anytime you are trying to go somewhere. So head up and head down really just mean go. So I could say like head up the street until you see a Starbucks and then turn right. Generally though, the difference between up and down here, it has kind of like a north and south, at least in English, it has a north-south sort of feel. So if, for example, I'm talking about the west coast of the USA, Seattle is in the north and Los Angeles is in the south. I would say I'm heading down, I'm going to head down to Los Angeles from Seattle, or I'm going to head up to Seattle from Los Angeles. It sounds really strange if I say head up to Los Angeles because Los Angeles is south of Seattle. So when you're speaking geographically, when you're speaking in terms of north and south for places, it's better to use head up or head down depending on the location you're talking about coming from. Let's see, in this sentence, head down this street for a while. The next expression is run over. Run over. This is a word that we use when in a car. Let's say you're driving your car and then an animal comes out in front of the car, but you continue going. We say you are going to run over. So to run, in this case, is not a human running,